Hello friend, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Julie and I am the knitwear designer behind Twin Stitches Designs. Today we are going to be chatting about everything knitting, some sewing, and potentially even some crochet, believe it or not. I hope you're ready to dive into everything that I've been working on. It has been quite a while since I sat down and did one of these, so I appreciate your patience with me in getting back into the swing of things. It has been so busy around here, but always very good. We actually got a little new addition to our family. I'd love to introduce Jingle Bells. I will put some video right here. He is an adorable little fur baby. He is about 5 months old at the moment, almost full 5 months old, and we adopted him in December. So he's definitely been a very big part of our family, and the girls have been loving him. The girls also turned 7 in January, so definitely things have been busy, but as always, they've been good. I have been wanting to sit down and podcast, but honestly, I've been struggling with my knitting mojo. I have been wanting to just sit and talk, but I felt as if I had nothing to share. I'm wondering if you feel the same way. I feel January and February a lot of the times, sometimes even December, you don't want to knit or craft as much, just struggling with that knitting mojo. I have been wanting to cast on something new. I've been wanting to feel inspired by something, and I'm doing a fun challenge for the month of February with my members of getting your mojo back, because it's something that happens and I think we need to normalize that we're not always crafting or we're not always knitting. I've been reading a lot, which I've been enjoying, and sometimes it's okay to take those breaks and not always be knitting or crocheting or quilting. Definitely having that break and needing it is okay, but sometimes it's just a struggle getting back into it. I'm really excited to try this fun challenge. I created some bingo cards just to try to keep it going, but I'm curious to know from you guys if you have any tips or tricks on getting mojo back. Let me know down below. I am curious. I think we can all use a little bit of that uplifting and encouragement on trying to get it. I'm actually wearing a brand new design that is going to be coming out on April 4th. This is called the Cosmic Pullover. It is currently in test knitting. It is knit with a strand of fingering weight yarn, and the yoke is done with Colourwork, but is actually knit using a Mohair or Suri held double. It's a really fun and simple design, and if you have been wanting to try your hand at Colourwork, it is a beautiful, easy, fun chart, and I'd highly encourage you to try this one out. I have designed the main color with Ruby and Roses in her Sangria colorway, which is really, really pretty. I did this one on the Plump Rose base, so I actually had all of this yarn in stash. And the Mohair is Camelia Fiber Co in her Moonflower, which is really fun. So this design is a yoked pullover. It has some short row shaping in the back. As always, if you don't like short row shaping, you can always omit that, but it is included in the pattern. It is knit top down and seamless. I really love it. My friend Raquel actually sample knit this for me. She is an absolute fantastic, incredible knitter. I really love the way that she did this, and yeah, I really, really love how it turned out. So this one, like I mentioned, is going to be available on Ravelry on April 4th. If you're not already on the newsletter, you can click the link down below to hop on to make sure that you don't miss out on any of these fun pattern releases and promotions, and you'll just get notified of everything. So this one, like I said, is going to be coming out soon, currently in test knitting, and I really, really love it. Definitely get your needles and yarn ready for this one. I've been working on, there's quite a few little projects that I've been working on, and I do want to share with you all. The next one is a design that I am working on right now that will be coming out on March 14th. This is a collaboration that I'm doing with my friend Laura of Campfiber Yarns. I have this in a bag that was so generously gifted to me from my friend Tanis of Earth Tones Girl when we were in Rhinebeck together. I mean, who doesn't love a sheep bag? I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. I love little snaps up here. Really great, and you can just roll it down and have your project inside. I am knitting up the Fruits and Veggie Cowl. This is a fun design that will go with the fruits and veggie socks that I came out with last year. This cowl is actually designed with both fingering and DK weight, so you can choose between the two of them. And these were my fruits and veggie socks. This pattern is already available on Ravelry, but we wanted to design a cowl pattern that would go along with it. So you have all sorts of fruits and veggie. We have some pineapples, apples, blueberries, grapes. Can you hear my cat? He's meowing at the door. Yeah. This is what you interrupted for. Do you want to say hello? He just needs to be wherever I am. No matter where I am, he needs to be there. You just want to go explore with the yarn. Go, be nice. This cowl is coming along really nicely. I did a provisional cast on and we have some pineapples, some carrots, and I just finished up some blackberries. I'm hoping to continue knitting on this today and this weekend and have it done. By the end of the weekend, it flies off the needles. It really does, because you just want to keep getting to the next section. I have not planned which fruits and veggies I want to use. I know that I just want to, I think, try to incorporate all of them. You can really have fun mix and matching. You can do all the same ones, different ones, and have fun with it. I'm knitting this on her DK weight yarn, and this is KnitPicks Interchangeable Needle Set on US 6. Really love them, the nickel plated ones. I am loving the cowl. Like I said, I'm hoping to have this one done by the end of the weekend and do a infinity with the provisional cast on is picking up. But all of this is going to be written in the pattern. I do want to say that it is written for both DK and a fingering weight version, so you can either choose to use up some scraps. If you don't have any DK weight yarn but want to make the DK version, if you hold fingering weight double, it will create that DK weight gauge. So definitely have fun mix and matching your different leftovers and creating all sorts of little fruits and veggie socks to go along with it. The next project on my needles is something that I'm doing with a fun knit along. This pattern is also going to be coming out early April, and it is called my Scrappy Faded Sweater. This is a sweater pattern that is perfect for stash busting. I designed and knit this up in December. December or January. I just have one more sleeve to finish on my pink sample. Now, I will admit that the reason the second sleeve is not done yet is because my cat has been loving my yarn. He is absolutely obsessed with mini skeins yarn and went into my bucket and then just absolutely destroyed my mini skeins. The pink yarn was all over the place, and I just don't think that I was in a mental space to be able to untangle all of that mess of yarn. Now, I did recently do it this week, because if you know me, I do not like untangling yarn. I would rather weave in ends than tangle yarn. Let me know if you're like me below, or you really don't mind it. I just needed a break from that because it broke my heart having all of that yarn tangled. It is a super fun design. It is knit fingering weight held double plus a strand of Suri alpaca and is meant to be stash busting. You can use 10, 15, one color, it does not matter. The pattern is written as a recipe, so you can choose however many colors that you like. For the first sample, I chose to do a folded collar, and it really creates a fun, amazing, squishy fabric. It is knit with US 10 for the body and US 9 for the sleeves. Really nice loose gauge, which is awesome and flies super fast on the needles. All of this is using stash yarn. Stash yarn is definitely something that I've been wanting to get through. I am being more conscious this year on the yarns that I'm using. Also the garments that I'm making, I always talk about how I want to knit and make garments that I will actually wear versus things that are just available or that may not be in my color palette. I tried this on, and friends, I just couldn't believe how much I loved the pink. I'm typically not a pink girl, but with this one, it spoke to me. I really, really loved it. I know that I can whip up this sleeve in a day or two. It really knits up super quickly. and then this version will be done. Now I did say this version because I'm actually knitting up a second one with the members for this knit along. I am doing a fun knit along with a whole group, 8 full weeks of classes and knit alongs and questions, Zooms, where they can come and ask me any type of questions for this sweater. And it's really a lot of fun to see their amazing progress and patterns and projects. It's absolutely incredible. And I didn't want to be left out, so I decided to cast on another Scrappy faded sweater. And of course, this one is in gray because I definitely have a lot of gray leftovers. I have this in a bag where I purchased over the weekend. I went to the Atlantic Fiber gathering, which was really a lot of fun. I found this bag and I just knew it was me. On top of it, it actually has a drawstring up here, which closes the bag, and I'm hoping that this will help for Jingles not to get in my bag. That's the hope, because he will go in. So we definitely need to find a solution for this. We are Friday. I cast this on a week ago, and I am almost done the yoke. It is knitting so quickly. For this one, I am doing things a little bit different. I'm still holding a Suri alpaca through, but I'm going to be using more bigger skeins of yarn versus leftovers. I've had some of these caked up for 4 to 5 years. And it's so sad that it's been there for 4 to 5 years, but that's okay. It's finally being used. I have right now these picked out, and I do have some mini skeins to put in between the yarns and to be able to have that fade effect. I am also using up a Suri alpaca through it. I do find holding one strand of the same yarn throughout your project really creates that cohesive look and something that just fades gradually, versus that if you are just always switching the colors, it won't fade as nicely or be as cohesive. I am using Botanical Fibers. This was the same one that I did with the pink one. It was just a different color. And hers is called Feather. It's 74% baby Suri alpaca, 26% silk, and it is a light fingering. This one is called Pale Lac, 50 grams, 300 meters. Really, really pretty. It is so incredibly soft. The yarn that I'm using at the moment, I'm just gonna put that right here. Okay, so the yarn that I'm using at the moment is by Fangirl Fibers. This was from her Twilight collection that she had sent me, and it is called, this is the Skin of a Killer. So this is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards, 365 meters. From her Twilight collection. Held with that Suri. And look how this is knitting up. I just love that texture. This version, I decided not to do the folded collar. I definitely wanted to have both options when I released the pattern in April, so that you can see what it would look like with a folded collar and without. I am about, I would say, past 6 inches into the yoke, so another about 2.5 inches, and I will be separating for the sleeves. I adore how this looks together. I think it's so me, really fun. I love that I'm gonna have 2 different versions of that same pattern, and it's really addictive to be able to use up that yarn. And when you're holding yarn double and triple, it just goes by so much more quickly. And yeah, so this is what I have left of that 100 grams. After that, I have Campfiber yarns in her Tiramisu. This is on her Vibrant 80/20 base. And after that one, I have her Dark Tiramisu, which is the same, has the same colors, but is just a little bit of a darker yarn, again, in her Vibrant 80/20. When you're knitting these types of patterns, you can definitely mix and match different yarns, bases, all of that. You can really have fun with your yarn and stash dive and use up every little bit of yarn. I do know that some people were using up 10 to 20 gram minis for the whole sweater, which I think is fantastic, and using up their advents so that they have an excuse to buy more advents this year. That is gonna be a fun pattern. Like I said, early April, look out for that one. And it will be, as always, all of my patterns size inclusive. It is knit from the top down, seamless yoke. You will have the option to have the fold over collar or just a regular collar, US 10 and US 9 for the ribbing. Let me know down below if you want a stash bust this year, and it is a perfect pattern for somewhere that's a little bit cold. Here on the east coast of Canada, trust me, I will get wear out of this sweater. Definitely when we have some days that are anywhere between -20, -30, it's definitely, it's needed, friends. I am hoping by the next podcast that the pink sweater will be done. And then the gray sweater I want to be able to split for the sleeves. I did tease at the beginning that there was potentially going to be some crochet, which if you know me and have followed me for any time, I couldn't crochet. Now I can't say that anymore. This past weekend at the Atlantic Fiber gathering, I sat down with my friend Rachel and she taught me how to crochet. It's been something that's been on my bucket list to do for such a long time. I admire crochet, I love the granny squares, and I have been dying to make the Jethro cardigan from Tanis. I seen this cardigan, I adore the different ones. It is a knit and crochet cardigan. You crochet all of the granny squares, join them together, and then knit for the collar and the sleeves. I just think it's fantastic. I love the idea and have been wanting to do it. But since I can't crochet or couldn't, I was never able to make it. I did have some of my friends reach out and be like, I can crochet the granny squares if you want, and then you can finish it up. And I'm like, as much as I would love that, I've been really wanting to make crochet granny squares. I would love to eventually have a big blanket. So I sat down with my friend and we did some crochet. She had really helped me out. We went through a single crochet as well as double crochet, really knowing the basics and things. So she did all of this down below so that I could just continue. And I, friends, did all of this. Look, it's crochet. I'm so beyond proud of myself. I've been trying for years to teach myself with tutorials. And it's so funny because knitting, I've taught myself online through YouTube tutorials. But for some odd reason, crochet tutorials, I couldn't quite grasp it. I really needed somebody there to tell me, okay, this is how I loop, this is how I hold, all of the terminology. I really needed that there where she could be like, yes, do this, no, don't do that, that's wrong, that's right. I needed that. And we sat down for supper and I crocheted, I almost said knit. I crocheted all of this. And I was so beyond proud of myself, and I decided, okay, this is Nicole C. Mendez and her DK weight yarn. This is the Ollivander's Shop from her Harry Potter collection. I'm going to rip this out, and I do want to make a pair of socks with this because I absolutely adore her DK weight yarn. It is a 75/25, really nice and plump and really durable. I then went on and by myself was holding fingering weight double with some scraps and started a mini crochet granny square. Now, is this perfect? Absolutely not. But the fact that I even got this far by myself, I am so proud. I'm like, I want to save this and like hang it up somewhere just like for proof. I really love it. I did this on a 4.5 hook. Hey, we're getting there, friends. These hooks are from We Crochet. I got the whole little set a while back. Really, really nice. I love the feel of them. Really great. And yeah, I just did this. I'm really proud. I am going to be continuing to practice before I definitely make that Jethro cardigan. I want to make a ton of little granny squares and take my time. This is going to be more of a passion side project in between things, and I think that it's just going to be something so special that I'm finally going to be able to do and be proud of myself. I'm curious, do you know how to crochet? Did you learn to crochet first and then knit? Because I do know a lot of us have crocheted first, then went into knitting. So I found it hard because I never crocheted before. My grandmother didn't crochet, she only knit. So it wasn't something that I was exposed to and definitely wanted to learn on my own. I just wanted to share that with you all because I'm so beyond proud. Next up, I do have some projects in the queue that I want to cast on. I technically have 3 projects that I'm really dying to cast on. The first 2 are actually going to be for the month-long knit along. My friend Tanis of Earth Tones Girls is doing a I Love Reading and Socks. This one is going to be yarns inspired by books. Now, my friend Emily from Fangirl Fibers had sent her Christmas book box, which is absolutely fantastic, had the books as well as the yarn, and I thought, what perfect way to be able to use these with Denise's knit along. So let me show you those yarns. I actually already have them caked up, ready, and in little yarn bowls. These are yarn bowls that I had gotten at KnitPicks quite a few years ago and decided to cake them up and put them right here. Jingle Bells doesn't seem to have noticed that this is yarn. He just sees a bowl, so it seems to be working. This first one up here is called Holly Jolly Ever After. These are on her 80-20 base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards, 365 meters. This is Emily's tag. Super sweet. And called Holly Jolly Ever After. I'm thinking for both of these to be using my perfect double-stranded sock pattern, where you hold fingering double and create a fun sock. I absolutely love doing that, and I think with these speckles, it's just going to be beautiful. Really, really pretty. So this is going to be sock number 1 for Denise's knit along. Put that back in the little bowl. And the second one is the same base and is called Meet Me Under the Mistletoe. This one is a little bit more lighter. It has more of that neutral color. Really, absolutely love it. I cannot wait to see how these are gonna knit up, especially knit double-stranded. I find that you really get more of a cushiony. If you've never knit socks double-stranded, I highly encourage you to try it out. It is great, it knits up fast, and it makes DK weight socks out of fingering weight yarn. It is one of the things that I love to do the most with my socks, and it does not hurt in the feet. I know that I always get quite a few questions when I do these. Can you fit them in shoes? Typically double-stranded socks, I wouldn't do them in sneakers, but boots and shoes and around the house, it is absolutely perfect. It doesn't hurt, it actually just gives it extra squish, as if you were to knit a DK weight pair of socks. But I really love them. And that is exactly what I will be doing with both of these. The next project that is going to be on my needles, and I'm actually going to be wanting to do this, I will be hosting the 1 week sock knitting challenge. This is a fun challenge that I haven't done for quite some time, but I absolutely love it. I will be hosting this over on Instagram. I will put the date right here of the knit along. The 1 week sock knitting challenge is a challenge for yourself to try to knit up a pair of adult socks in 1 week. It can be any weight, any pattern, and you just post using the hashtag, that is it. If you can't finish, don't stress or worry. As long as you have fun, that's all that matters. We cast on the Sunday. It cannot be a work in progress, so it has to be a new cast on, and we try to finish them up by Saturday night. So this is definitely going to be lots and lots of fun. I want to push myself to knit up a brand new design. This yarn is out of Vita Lifestyle. Absolutely adore Victoria, and is going to be a fun kit that she will be having in her shop. These are going to be some bunny socks inspired for Easter. This is going to be the base color. We also have some white mohair. And we have some little speckled eggs colored. These are just absolutely so stinking cute. I wound up one, and I still have to wind up the other 3. This is going to be a brand new design that I think will be coming very, very early in April, if not late March. I can't wait to knit these up, so I'm going to be caking everything up, setting them up. Right now I just have these in little IKEA basket. Really love these. They're so simple, but you can just plop everything in and they are right there. I am going to be knitting this up for the 1 week sock knitting challenge, and I hope you will come over and join me. It's free. It's not, you don't have to pay for anything. It's just a fun challenge for yourself. The last thing that I want to mention in knitting is some acquisitions. As I was at the Atlantic Gathering this past weekend, I picked up 3 skeins of yarn. that's all I picked up, friends. I was very, very good. My incredible friend Amanda of Sweet Skein of Mine had a booth, and I saw these there and just couldn't help myself. This was her show color for the gathering called Winter Gathering. I decided to pick this up in her DK weight yarn. I find that I don't have enough DK weight. I have a lot of fingering and definitely want to get more of that DK weight. Her DK is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 246 yards, 100 grams, 4-ply. I do not have any plans for this one yet, probably a pair of socks, but I will just be putting this away as a memory of this past weekend. The next two yarns I decided to grab was on her bulky weight base. Again, bulky is not something I have in my stash very much. This is her bulky 3-ply, 100% superwash merino, 106 yards per 100 grams. I decided to grab in her vintage love letter. When I saw this yarn, I knew I needed at least one skein. I am thinking about making a hat and mitten set if I can have enough of the yarn. I think that it would be really, really fun and pretty. So I'm hoping to make this next month or within the month. I feel like bulky weight just goes by really fast. Big needles, big yarn. I'm not sure on the pattern yet for the hat or mittens. I may look through Ravelry. I may do up one of my own. I'm not really sure, but I just knew that this needed to come home with me and become a hat mitten set for sure. The last thing I want to share with you all is some quilting. I just finished up a really fun quilting pattern that I'm very proud of. This is probably one of the most complicated patterns that I've done. I purchased a sew sampler box last year in 2024 and never got around of actually quilting this or making this quilt. And so this one is called Bobbin Blooms Quilt Pattern, designed by Heather Briggs of My So Quilty Life. And I decided to also purchase the finishing kit because I loved the quilt so much that I got the background fabric as well as the binding. I do have some stash fabric to use for the backing, and I will be sending this off to my quilter. I just think that having her make a floral pattern or something a little bit more intricate would really finish the quilt nicely. It is a smaller quilt, finishing at 42.5 by 46.5. I think it's more of a showpiece and something that I'm able to hang up and have. I really adore it. My quilter, she has an electric quilt, and it just does all of the patterns by machine. So definitely much easier to have her do that. And I will be putting it aside and hoping that I will provide that to her in the next coming week. As I finish one quilt, I definitely have to have another one. And this is another sew sampler that I received last year. It is called Peach Preserves. This one has been in my queue for quite some time. I really adore it. I was not able to grab the actual finishing kit from their website and went to my local quilt shop here, and ironically, they had both of these fabrics. I was able to grab the exact same thing for this, and also had some stash fabric to use for the backing, which I think is going to be perfect for that pattern. I have everything here ready to go, and I will definitely be quilting this up very soon. With the sew sampler, it came with the ruler. The hexagon ruler came with everything. I will definitely be showing this one in more details on the next podcast because I'm hoping to have it started. And that's it, friends, on everything sewing, quilting, knitting, and crocheting. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and definitely let me know. And if you did, make sure you hit that like and subscribe so you don't miss out. I'm hoping to come to you guys every 2 weeks. I'm definitely wanting to podcast more. I miss sitting down, chatting with you all, and sharing the makes that I have. And I also have some exciting, incredible things happening in 2025 that I don't want you to miss out on. So I hope you all have a wonderful, fantastic day wherever you are, and I will catch you guys again next time. As always, happy knitting. Bye.